I'm Debra Diamond, and I'm the author of Life After Near Death, Miraculous Stories of Healing and Transformation in the Extraordinary Lives of People with Newfound Powers. I'm very excited because today I'm going to share with you one of the chapters from my book. It's one of the most interesting chapters. All the chapters are interesting, but this one is particularly interesting because it deals especially with consciousness. And consciousness is a area that's of particular interest to me, and I'm sure it is to you as well. I found that in the NDE experience, there was much more about consciousness that was revealed to me than what I expected. And some of this is discussed in this chapter. And the title of this chapter it's Chapter 17, The Meaning of Consciousness in the NDE Experience. So I'm going to just read a little bit. Oh, there goes my cat, one of my cats. Anyway, I'm going to read just a little bit to you from this chapter, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it. So, Chapter 17, The Meaning of Consciousness in the NDE Experience. Deep down, the consciousness of man is one. David Bohm. As I moved forward with this work, I realized I was tapping into only the thinnest crack in the veneer of consciousness, a fragile opening, yet I knew there was more. This work led me to greater questions. Is the untold vastness of stars, planets, and galaxies that extends across millions of light years somehow linked to the creation of consciousness? Is consciousness at an unimaginable scale, yet no scale at all? How does what we know about consciousness impact our understanding of death, the afterlife, eternity, and oneness? There were many striking moments in this research. One of the most memorable was our assumptions regarding how we connect with reality. All of us on Earth make this basic assumption, and most of us think of reality as what we touch and feel and see, what we receive through our physical senses. Yet the real mystery lies outside of this reality. Our consciousness is lodged in our dense physical bodies, which means we are never fully conscious until our consciousness separates at death, or in an NDE or other transformative experience when it is freed up to be completely available. Consciousness is the most complex event of our existence, the last frontier that has not been sufficiently explored. Today, after extensive scientific study, nobody has the slightest idea how anything material can be conscious. The origin of the universe and consciousness is still one huge mystery. Science and consciousness. Consciousness is paradoxical. It is intangible, yet we know it exists. We have no idea how it is put together because we can't see it, but we know it is front and center in our lives, our frame of reference for how we regulate our life. What about the brain, the instrument panel for the scientific view of consciousness? How does the brain explain our subjective experience? According to conventional thinking, when scientists talk about consciousness, they refer to the brain. According to science, Rajiv Parti's veridical experience when he was viewing his sister and his mother in India drinking tea while he was halfway around the world on an operating table at UCLA Medical Center, which was in Chapter 5 of the book, this could not have occurred, but it did. Looked at through the lens of science, when Barbara Whitfield was lying in her hospital bed in Chapter 3, she could not have overheard a conversation at the nursing station down the hall, but she did. Current scientific thinking is built on the premise that we can't trust evidence you can't test. But the energetic world eludes scientific research and checking. It's intangible. It does not play by the same rules as the conventional material world, even though science persists in applying their physical laws to it. Is it possible that the answer to consciousness does not lie in the brain? That all existence is lodged elsewhere? that the characteristic that gives us life and knowing, that element of the NDE that is ineffable, may reside elsewhere, within us, or around us, that it is eternal and integrated within the universe. Examining consciousness began as far back as 350 BCE when Aristotle and Plato agreed on the principle that multiple souls encompassed several functions, including one that controls biological functions, another that controls feelings, and yet another that controls the ability to reason. By the 1600s, René Descartes began to contemplate the issue. There had to be not just a physical realm, but a mental realm, he reasoned. He believed in dualism, that mind and body are not equivalent. In our contemporary world, science focuses on consciousness as a consequence of our physicality. Brain death explains the end of life as we know it, scientists say. NDEs are nothing but a series of brain reactions. But scientific explanations are lacking in the realm of the NDE. The story the scientific world tells simply does not hang together. It not only does not explain consciousness, it does not begin to explain the near-death experience. As you have seen in this book, consciousness as encountered by the NDEers is a realm not defined by materialism, not made of matter, at least not matter by our definition. It's a realm that eludes explanation and our current tools of measurement. According to the cases in this book, universal consciousness is pulling all sorts of strings at every moment in our existence, unknown to us. NDEs are just a small part of what's happening in consciousness. Our universe is a little pocket in a much vaster space, a space we cannot fathom, a larger, more complex whole. We are tapped into a collective form of knowing that we cannot contemplate. As we examine reality, we must ask, can the mystery of reality be attributed to the moment when pure consciousness meets universal consciousness? Is our consciousness more acute, more real and substantial when not filtered or weighted down by our physical body? When this moment occurs, is this the exquisite moment of all knowing, the total comprehension we are seeking? And are we therefore immortal and infinite in time and space? The concept of reality and the search for our ultimate reality has dogged human beings since we noticed the celestial heavens above us. Much of our human existence is devoted to trying to make sense of our place in the universe and the role and interaction we have within that reality. Various schools of philosophical, spiritual, and scientific thought have attempted to explain this dominant question of human existence, this boundless mist of energy interwoven within the universe. According to this work, consciousness is alive and surrounds us. Everything has some level of consciousness, and consciousness exists in all life. By virtue of rubbing up against it, we are imparted with consciousness. It doesn't necessarily get into our physical body and doesn't reside in a physical location, and that's where science has a dilemma. Consciousness is invisible. It's permeable, like the air, and doesn't have to reside in a physical place, the brain, the heart, or a physical organ. It seeps through us like steam, so it doesn't have to be in the brain. It doesn't have to be in the heart. It doesn't have to be anywhere, because it's porous. It's thin. It's not of our concrete world. The emerging evidence shows that our consciousness is without borders, and our views of the afterlife must be re-examined. In universal consciousness, everything is recorded in a system based on non-physicality and non-locality. We can't impose our laws on that system. Our world, our reality, is a snapshot, a series of vignettes created by consciousness. It's like a file or a Rolodex that's a subset of the totality of the universe. Everything in consciousness can be drawn up, recreated, and retrieved, but never lost. In this plane of existence, there is stored information, a recording of every act, every behavior that exists. This information is connected by the fiber, the invisible web that acts like a mesh to weave and record all beings together in an overwhelming, coordinated scheme. In this way, all of our planets, our universe, everything that is in the universe and consciousness is in everything. I'm going to stop there, but that's an excerpt from Life After Near Death, Miraculous Stories of Healing and Transformation in the Extraordinary Lives of People with Newfound Powers. That was an excerpt from chapter 17. I'll be back to read more chapters and more excerpts to you. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, of course, you can always reach out through my author website, DebraDiamondAuthor.com. Until next time, peace.